Well, over the next couple of weeks for my weekly update, I kind of want to expand beyond just this campus. You know, we're a church with 3 campuses. I'm super excited about that. And so this week, Travis will be with me. Next week, Brent will be with me. And we'll get to know them a little bit. And I thank you for the support of the concept of being a multi-site church. I think it's an incredible kingdom-minded way to do things. So Travis, thanks for joining me, and I'm enjoying getting to know you.
Yeah.
And we got hopefully years to get to know each other.
Yeah.
Why don't we start? What brought you here? How did you?
Yeah.
What kind of intrigued you? Because you moved probably significantly a long
Yeah.
ways, and
Yeah, so we were in Las Vegas for about 20 years, and my wife and I, over the course of a year, just felt like God was closing that door. And so I've never done this before in my life. I just looked to see, is there opportunities out there? And one day I saw the Immanuel Church teaching pastor position, and I did not realize until I got to the bottom of that page, it was in my home state of Kentucky.
oh wow,
And so we prayed about it, put in an application, didn't really think much of it, didn't know what was going to come of it. And then I got a request for an interview. And in the course of that interview, Bradley Thomas said, "Hey, will you pray about why we're talking?" Well, that next week on our teaching calendar, I was preaching out of Acts 13. And in that text, we see that the Holy Spirit calls Paul and Barnabas on their missionary journey. And the first place they go is Cyprus. Well, what was interesting to me is if you go back to chapter 4, Cyprus was Barnabas' hometown.
wow,
And so I felt like God just really clearly spoke in his word to say, "Travis, I'm calling you back to your home state."
that's awesome.
And so that's really what started the whole thing of leading us back home.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you've been a church planter. You've been doing your thing out in Las Vegas, which is totally different context.
Yes.
You come here as a campus pastor for an already established campus, and yet there's a lot of church planting that you're doing, obviously,
Yeah.
and still because there's so much growth opportunity there. What is the value, the benefit in this model
Yeah.
where you're a part of a larger organization and not just on your own?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, when you plant on your own, it's truly you're on your own.
Yeah.
But the way we're doing it here is there's camaraderie, there's a unity, and there's a common mission that we're doing together.
Yeah.
And so there's resources that are shared amongst all campuses in which we can learn from each other, resource each other, and even partner together on strategic initiatives. The other thing that I really enjoy and find a benefit in this is being around people like you and Bradley and some of the other staff, because I'm not in this alone, that there's always people there who can help and support. And so that relationship is probably the key factor in the whole thing that is unique to a church plant.
Yeah. And having been a church planter a couple of times, it can be a lonely world out there. It can be a lonely world as a pastor of any church. And so to come together, what a blessing that is. Well, what's going on at Armstrong Mill that we should know about that's exciting you?
Yeah.
Anything just really happening that gets you up in the morning?
You know, the thing that I've really enjoyed from the moment I've showed up here to Lexington, the Armstrong Mill Church is so passionate about reaching their friends and family. It seems like almost every weekend when I come into church, I'm meeting a new person that has been invited by someone in the church. Now, the church has grown. I think we're around 130 people, and you know, numbers aren't everything, but numbers are important because they represent people.
That's right.
And people matter to God. And so just that evangelistic excitement is really cool. The other thing that I've noticed is that the church is really wanting to make an impact in the community. And so when we hosted Foster Parents Night Out a few months ago, we had like 15 volunteers, 16 volunteers, watched 33 kids, and it was amazing to watch the church come together to really bless and love our community.
Yeah, love that.
And so I'd say those are two big things that really stick out to me that I just really enjoy.
So what's coming this fall? Anything that really is on the horizon that just you're excited about?
We potentially going to 2 services in the fall, so that'll be really cool. We're going to start doing Foster Parents Night Out on the first Friday of each month, and so I know that'll be a huge blessing to our community. We actually did some research to find out some needs in our community, so we're going to start some ministries focusing around marriage and stuff like that to kind of strengthen marriage. And then just trying to figure out how to continue to use that campus to reach that neighborhood.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so just really excited about some of those projects coming up.
Well, I love that. And I love the fact that we're doing this together.
Yeah.
And when you win over there, we're winning
Yeah.
here and the whole kingdom wins. So I
Yeah.
love that. How can we be praying for you, your family, specifically
Yeah.
the campus during this season?
Um, that's a good question. For my family, pray for my kids. My son is entering his senior year.
Wow.
And
What a year
so,
to move, right?
yeah, exactly. And so he'll be here. He's going to finish out his senior year at LCA. Right now, I think he's going to be kicking some football as
Awesome.
well as playing soccer. So he's excited about that. But all three of the kids are going to be joining a new school. So just for their friendships and relationships there, I'd say for my wife and I, that we can just continue just to grow closer to each other.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
great.
I know my family is my first ministry, and so ministry is out of the overflow of that.
Yeah.
And so just to be praying for that in that regard.
That's
So
awesome. Well, I'm
yeah.
excited that you're here. I'm
Yeah.
excited that I'm here. And I'm
Yeah.
excited we get to do this together and look forward to many
Absolutely.
days ahead.
Right on.